Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a review on one of the new Anker Roav dash cameras. This is the S1 model, and if you guys have seen Anker's previous dash cameras, you can tell that this looks just like the C1 and C1 Pro. So it is a wedge style dash camera. Now this one is pretty much like the C1 Pro, except it has a Sony Starvis image sensor. So this doesn't do 1440p, but it does do 1080p with supposedly better night quality. So similar to the C1 Pro model, it does have built-in GPS, built-in Wi-Fi, and again comes with a 32GB memory card. Now using the built-in Wi-Fi and GPS, you're going to be able to view your files on your smartphone, and with the GPS map you can scroll around and actually select the video clip on your trip. So that way, if you know something happened perhaps in a certain city, you can select the video clip in that location. So this is pretty common with a lot of cameras with GPS and Wi-Fi now, but it's still great to see Anker's doing it very well. For the most part, it's pretty much just like the C1 Pro, but with the Sony Starvis image sensor. So if you guys have been paying attention to dash cameras, you might know that the Vifo A119 series did something similar, where it had the A119 model and the A119S model, which used the Sony Starvis image sensor, and a lot of people preferred the original. A119 with the 1440p, so it'll be interesting to see what people think about this. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the C1 or C1 Pro anymore. I ended up with probably 20 dash cameras, so I gave some to friends. I sold some of them, so I don't have those anymore to compare because I just ended up with so many. But again, right off the bat, it is just like the C1 and C1 Pro. Not seeing any major differences. See there, Sony Starvis, GPS, Wi-Fi. Now, I can't remember, but I could have sworn that C1 and C1 Pro had sort of a magnesium body. I thought it did, and this is all plastic. So if one of you guys has the C1 still and can verify that, this definitely feels just like regular plastic, when I could have sworn the C1 was that magnesium type metal. So if that's the case, it's interesting because also I did buy this one. I think it was $100, $120. I continue to buy them, which is why I mentioned my affiliate links down in the description. It can help me out because some of these kind of cameras I want to review even if I can't get them for free. So pretty cheap packaging this time. You got two mounts. They're same thickness. No, A119s usually come with one that's got a little bit of a wedge. It is black. I was a little worried because on the side it looks gray, but as you can see there, that is a black adhesive. So this is, again, just pretty much exactly like the C1 model. Might not be able to get that off now. It does come with a 2-port charger. Now it's interesting, it comes with a Roav branded charger. The previous ones came with a Anker one. Now I'm a little disappointed that they're not including the Anker one with the Anker IQ charging ports, or it doesn't have quick charge, so it seems like they're sort of cheaping out here. Of course, it does come with a little installation tool and a memory card, still including the 32GB Samsung card. And then here we got the cable. So it still uses a micro USB. So let's check her out. It's a little strange that they don't use a 90-degree cable that goes straight up anymore. Seems strange. English. Not gonna worry about this stuff. It's recommending a memory card. Telling you about the app.
Please format micro SD card.
So that's always nice that it does have audio alerts. There you can see it. I don't know if you saw that. We're able to read it, but it allowed me to format it. So we got an emergency record, so that'll lock a file. We got a mute, a file, so you can watch your videos, or a menu. So here we got 1080p 60 frames per second. So that is nice that it can do 1080p 60. We got length of the clip. I'm going to keep it at 3 minutes. We got sensitivity. I'm going to turn that off. I don't want it to lock those G-sensor files. We got parking monitor. Now the thing about the parking monitor is it uses an internal battery, and as far as I've seen, it still uses a battery. So that's definitely something that's going to be a con for a lot of people. If you live in a very hot climate, you might not want to go with an Anker camera. Now, the original C1 models did have issues with the batteries, but they did replace them, and all the new ones, from as far as I've seen, haven't had issues. But still, anytime there's a battery in a dash camera, it can be somewhat concerning. So here we got low, medium, high for the parking monitor. I'm going to leave that off for now. We got Wi-Fi, date, language, GPS, speed settings, so you can display miles per hour or kilometers per hour. LCD auto off. I'm going to put that to 30 seconds because I don't want the screen on all the time. You can turn the beeping sound off. This is to reset the settings to default. Got format the memory card. You can turn the watermark on or off. I'm going to leave it on. We'll see what it looks like this time. They used to have a really colorful Anker Roav logo. Frequency in North America, you'll want 60 Hertz. If you don't, it will it'll make lights flicker in your video. Parking LCD on. So while parking, I'm assuming this means while it's on parking mode, the LCD will be off or on. I don't know why you would want that on. And we got an about. Now, using the app, you can also change all of these settings from your smartphone. So if you have the camera tucked behind your rear view mirror and it's hard to look up there or bend down and look up at it, then the app is really nice for that. So now also with audio alerts, when it loses power, it does let you know that it's turning off, and there you can see there is a battery icon. So if your parking mode is on, it can record up to like 30 videos. Now the way parking mode works is it will use the internal battery, and when it senses an impact, it'll start recording. So that means there is a slight delay of a few seconds from the time it senses the impact, turns back on, and starts recording. But the nice thing is you don't need a hardwiring kit, so this is simple, just not as advanced. Now, getting to the video quality, the S1 model, like I mentioned earlier, has 1080p 60. So the original C1 model, which looks the same, had an older Sony image sensor, the IMX323 or the Exmor image sensor, and that only did 1080p 30. Then they released the C1 Pro, which offered 1440p, and it only did 1080p in 30 frames per second. So this is basically just another model with another option, and I would say that the video quality is pretty adequate here. It's good, but there are a lot of other cameras on the market that are even cheaper with this same image sensor or chipset that have just as good a video. Now, I think the fact that this camera does have Anker's name brand behind it, its 12-month warranty, and the pretty well-developed Wi-Fi smartphone app, I think a lot of people are going to be drawn to this. And I think based on the entire package of what you're getting, it is a decent camera, especially again because you have a big brand name that'll back their product. Now, since this has the Sony Starvis image sensor, the night quality is also supposed to be slightly better than, say, the C1 Pro or even the C1 with the older generation Sony Exmor sensor. Now, since I don't have them to compare side by side, I unfortunately can't show that directly, but you can see there's tons of footage from those other cameras, and I'll provide links down in the description to where you can watch my reviews of the old ones. And I'd say the Sony Starvis on this performs just about what I was expecting. Now, this does actually have pretty high bitrate of about 19 megabits per second. What was strange is the Roav, or the C1, also had really high bitrate, over 20, and then it seems like they patched it and dropped the bitrate down to the teens. But either way, this one's about 19 megabits per second, a little bit over that actually. And I think overall the video quality is satisfactory, and the night quality is good. The brightness is very good, and I don't think many people are going to be very disappointed with this camera for the price point with all the features it packs. Now, of course, there is the issue with the battery though, so if you live in a very hot climate like Texas or Arizona, you definitely need to take that into consideration. Now, getting back to the Wi-Fi app, it's interesting. It does, they have changed it quite a bit since I had used it before. There's some instructions here, and I noticed there's an A0 model. I'm not sure what that is. From what I've read on Google, it might be some sort of Walmart model, because apparently there's also a C0 model that also might just be only available at Walmart. Now here you can see, you can view a list of all of your recorded files, and you can transfer them directly to your phone over Wi-Fi if you'd like. Now here I was viewing a file, and on this one the GPS was not on here, but as you saw earlier in the video, it would show the speed and the location on the map. But here you can see you can also do a full screen, which is pretty useful if you want to view a little more detail on your phone. So again, overall I think the app is pretty good. So the camera overall I think is decent. I think the biggest problem it's going to be facing is the fact that Anker Roav keeps releasing so many different models. It seems like several different models come out each year now, and it's going to confuse consumers, I feel like, because the C1, C1 Pro, and S1 all look the same, but they all offer slightly different features. Now, some people might prefer the 1440p of the C1 Pro model, but if you view the C1 Pro model, some people did complain that the video looked a little too pixelated, or that the video quality didn't look like a big enough jump, and maybe that has to do with some of the encoding or bitrate. A lot of people claimed that the Viafo A119 looked better, but when I compared them side by side, I thought there wasn't really any more detail in the Viafo that I could pick up than the C1 Pro. And if the C1 Pro or the 1440p doesn't really offer a whole lot more detail than 1080p, then maybe you might prefer having the Sony Starvis image sensor in the S1 Roav camera and having, the slightly better night quality. But either way, I think it's just going to be hard for a lot of consumers to decide because there's so many different models. Of course, there's going to be competitors like the Viafo A119, the A119 Pro, but I will say that the Anker Roav cameras, even though they do have the batteries They do have the Wi-Fi that works very well and is very convenient for saving files or just watching video files from your phone instead of on the little tiny screen. Now, one major complaint I did have is the audio picks up very strangely. Now in this next clip, you're going to hear my cooler in the back of my car with water bottles and ice slushing around. Now, on this next clip, just listen to the sounds as they drive by. It sounds almost like it's recording underwater. So that's definitely a major flaw. I'm not sure if it's just mine that's defective, but either way, the only reason I don't care that much about the audio is, again, when I talk, it sounds okay. It's going to pick up the important noises like you talking or tires screeching, but for whatever reason, those distant sounds are very strange. So if that's a deal breaker for you, I just wanted you guys to know that that's how mine is picking up audio. But besides that, and the inevitable confusion of all the different models, I do think this camera is decent. I think what it's going to come down to, if you're looking at an Anker camera, is the price. So if I were to break it down to someone interested in this camera or potentially the very popular Viafo cameras, if you can live without Wi-Fi and GPS, take a look at the original Viafo A119 V2. That's a great option, has great video quality, and is under $100. Now, if you do want Wi-Fi and GPS, definitely take a look at the C1 Pro or the S1. Now, the C1, like I meant, C1 Pro has the 1440p, where this one has 1080p only, but does 60 frames per second. So there's trade-offs, and the C1 Pro might cost a little bit more. So again, it might just come down to price. So I hope this video was helpful for all of you all out there. If you like this video or my other videos, I'd appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. Of course, I'll provide affiliate links down in the description to where you can purchase this camera or the other cameras I mentioned in this review. And as usual, drive safe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.